Alright, Cameraman Wes, here we are, podcast and beyond, Steel Horse Thunder. We're in the Steel Horse Thunderdome. How you doing, man? You beating the heat?
Yes. Not really. It's hot.
Feels pretty good in here, though.
It does feel good in here. The AC is nice in here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're not smoking cigars, so we can close off the ventilation system and actually get it cold in here.
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
Wes, tell me a little bit about this badass beard care that we got going on here.
Badass Beard Care. It is amazing. It's a veteran-owned company. They make everything in America.
America.
But I mean, it's a great company. They do help a lot of veterans. So when you buy stuff from them, a lot of the proceeds actually go to help veterans out, different causes. But their product is amazing. I mean, you put the oil in and all. I mean,
I like it.
It's some of the best stuff I've ever used.
All right, man. We are here, Steel Horse Thunder and Beyond podcast. We are in the Steel Horse Thunder Cafe, indoors, in the air conditioning. All right, man. I am so happy to have you guys on here. I've been wanting to do this ever since we started talking about doing podcasts. It was like, you guys got to be on here. I got to have you on here. So this has worked out really good. I mean, you guys rode 300 miles just to be here, so that's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, we could have come over earlier, but we said, you know what, let's make it hard.
Yeah. Where is it located at? Okay, well, let's do it by way of Cincinnati. Yeah, it was a good plan, huh? All right, so I got Bill. Okay, it's Choate. Used to be Choate. Now you guys pronounce it Choate?
Choate.
Okay, so it's pronounced Choate now. I understand, with everything that your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather went through, I understand why you would change it up just a little. You know, one of the rides that Cindy and I used to do all the time was I used to love to run down to Madison. And then hit Madison, hit the river, run the river up to Lawrenceburg, Indiana, which is shortly before you cross over into Cincinnati. And then kind of make our way back and go through maybe Friendship, Indiana, and all that kind of stuff. That was always one of our favorite rides to do. Before we just start talking stories and, you know, get another beer or two in us, let me just ask age. Bill, how old are you?
58.
I'm
Gunnar?
32.
Gunnar, you're 32. I'm just curious. Here's something I have said forever. If we don't do something about getting younger people riding, what we do and what we've known for a lifetime, it's all going to cease to exist. Gunnar, let me ask you. You're 32 years old.
Yep.
When you're out riding, are there many people your age that you can ride with?
Kind of hit and miss, really. I mean, I got a few buddies that ride, but it's starting to dwindle down. You know, not as many guys.
But the fact is, there's just not as many people riding nowadays. And I don't know. What do you see as the solution to that?
I don't know, man. I just, you know, everything goes in phases. You know, it's kind of like the bike deals. I started riding. I was 21. You know, and I bought my bike, and hardly anybody in town had a motorcycle. A few, you know, me and Chuck, you know, and Chuck and Super Dave. Yeah, we all rode together. Jim Richards, you know, Bubby, and we all kind of rode together. And that was about it. You know, I mean, there was a few of the older guys that was around, but it's kind of the same deal right there. They were the older guys. We were the young guys coming up, and we was all riding together. But everything, and then it just seemed like a switch clicked, and then the motorcycles all started appearing. And then, I don't know, it was just a few years went by or whatever, and then it just seemed like the bikes all got parked, and then they all bought Corvettes, or they bought, you know, the little cars with the fart mufflers on them and stuff like that, you know, and that was the new phase, and everybody wanted to be into that. And then it just seems like, you know, it's just everything goes in. But now I see a lot of the guys that ride kind of you see the guys that's my age, they've the ones always been riding, but they just kind of behind the scene riding, you know.
Right.
They go out and ride, and they don't. Now you got a group that's a little younger than us that they're the guys that want to be seen, and they don't do a lot of riding.
The only reason we trailered out there is because we have such limited time, and so we trailered out there. We don't like to do that, but
nobody likes to do it.
I mean, we just had, you know, it was 20, almost 2,500 miles or something.
Yeah.
We only have
1 week.
a week, you know, so we trailered out there, but
we try to, like Arizona. Arizona's so big though,
Right.
that we was able to.
I mean, we
Where
were
the hell
like,
where did we stop at in Arizona?
we stayed in Mesa.
Mesa.
Arizona.
I never can remember. See, there's that Alzheimer's thing kicking in at old age. But we stayed in Mesa, and we made that our base. And then every day we'd ride just one direction, go somewhere, and try to see it, you know. And that was
We were pushing like 2,000 miles by the end of the trip.
so.
So.
in a week, you know.
But the reason I brought that up, because Cindy and I, years ago, we had it was a good 2.5 week vacation. And our plan was we were going to run out, do the Badlands, all that stuff, Mount Rushmore, Devil's Tower, Needles Highway, go down into, I wanted to see Glacier and do all that, and then go down to Yellowstone and Jackson Hole. I wanted that whole experience. We had a tragedy in the family that kept us from being able to do that. And then years later, we had an opportunity where we'd be able to do it, didn't have as much time. And my thought were, at the time we had a van, and we used to camp out of this van all the time. And I thought, I would never do this back in the day, but because of our time schedule, couldn't we just drive out, put the bikes on a trailer, drive out there, and then do the same thing?
Yeah.
We can camp at Yellowstone, and then if we go too far, we end up all the way up at Glacier, up by the Canadian border, up in Montana. Stay the night up there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a van. It's not like anybody's going to mess with the van. You know what I'm saying? You're in a campsite. Just leave the van there for overnight and then come back. And it was like, and I'm so mad that I didn't do that, because that was the way I could have done it. But back in the day, you don't trailer a bike.
One of the
Because I
main
was such an idiot.
One of the main reasons that we trailered out to Arizona, or if I even do trailer, is because I usually take 2 bikes, and then he'll take his, and I always take my.
I take 2 bikes.
You know, and it's funny because, you know, yes, I've been on a Harley now for the last 24 years, and that was always my dream. I wanted a Harley. I don't have anything against other bikes. I really don't. I rode a Honda forever. I rode a 550, the old 554K.
The week before that, when we were in Illinois, the cicadas.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Yeah, they got
like
bad.
little torpedoes, man.
Yes.
I picked. That's what he was going to say. If I pick places to
He
stay,
picks places, you might as well. It's probably cleaner if you just sleep on the ground, like outside somewhere. These places he picks, so we take turns. You know, we take turns. Like whenever we like one night it's his turn. I'm cool with camping. So like, well, you know, my hotel. If we're gonna stay at a hotel, I don't want to pull it back and there'll be Band-Aids laying it. He don't care about that kind of crap.
Just sweep them off.
Yeah, he just sweep. I'm like, this is bull crap, you know, like, so. This one time it was his turn to buy. We were in, where was it? Were we? I don't know if it was Louisiana or where it was, but
All right.
I think we were in Louisiana, and it was his turn to buy, and he I don't know, he found this place, and he called them, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll be outside, we'll be ready for you. So that already tells you they don't get much service. They're like, we're outside, we'll see when you pull in. So that we come pulling into this place, and right across there's 2 truck stops and a sex shop right next to it. Two truck stops and a sex shop.
Dear diary. Jackpot.
And I didn't know this, so we come rolling in, and I look at this place, and they're in the window waving at us. I rolled my ass right back out, and he went, nope. They went.
we've never had a trip Yet, even the weekend runs that we do and stuff.
Whether good or bad.
But there's
Right?
always
There's always a story. Yes.
and it's memorable. It's memorable.
Cameraman Wes, you got any good stories about staying in super cheap hotels on a motorcycle ride?
Super cheap hotels and campgrounds built on railroad tracks.
Oh, that's happened to me. That was in Canada.
Dude, there is no. Well, yes, it was in Canada. The railroad,
put campgrounds on railroad
the railroad tracks was in Canada,
yeah,
and it was like
2 o'clock in the morning, the horn, they go,
And next thing you know, there's just a bright light shining through your tent.
and speaking of Krambo, shout out to Tucker down there for Krambo. He's a magician. He's great.
He's the only one I let touch my shovel head. So
Is that right?
yeah, he's the only one that I let touch it. So
Yeah, they do.
Anything happens to that shovel, he goes, I call Tucker.
so
That's the way to do it. I like seeing younger people involved, and of course, you're 32. You're not a kid by any means, but still, I like seeing younger people riding bikes. I mean, shit, you're riding around on a shovel. You're riding, you know what I mean? You've got all these motorcycles. You made sure you didn't marry your girlfriend and have babies with her. I'm saying you got your priorities in order. That's what I'm saying. I love to see.
she's gonna be mad when she watches
I
this.
just- and I knew you guys were out riding. I knew you were putting in about 300 miles. I was like, WWJD, what would Joe do? You know what Joe did? Joe made sure there was a cooler full of ice cold beers waiting when I got there and an air conditioned house. And I was like, I'm going to make sure there's a cooler full of beer and everything for when you guys get here.
Well, and the Choates appreciate it.
Very much. I need to go recycle some of this beer too.
Right? All right, man. We will call it a night. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning into the podcast. Thank you guys for being with us. Here's to many, many, many more rides and great memories.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, man. Steel Horse Thunder is out.